Hey guys, Tony Ortiz here. I'm back with another Bloodstained video, and this came up in Discord. We were chatting about this the other day, and I just wanted to try to help out a little bit. And so what I have here is I have my base save file. I have all the books off. I have a bunch of gear that's like average put on, and I have the Zangetsu sword here, and I have just Dimension Shift as my purple. And I'm not going to use any other shards, and we're going to kind of just like talk. And you see I have all my white shards here turned off. We're just going to kind of talk about what to do with the final boss, because this is kind of usually what stops a lot of people from completing speedruns of the randomizer. So getting through this area is hard enough, but then you get down to the Dom and Baal, you're grossly underleveled, you have no health, and so on and so forth. And it gets to be pretty difficult. This is a big barrier for me as well, especially if you don't have like the best melee combat in the world. Like, basically there's a way I talked about in some of the other tutorials where you can kind of jump slash, land, slash again, backdash, slash again, and then as you slash again, you can backdash again, and then jump and slash, and then repeat that kind of in, or you can even cut out that like third slash there, but you can kind of just repeat this in a triangle, and like you can get a lot of melee hits in. I'm no good at it. I'm terrible at it. My MVC 2 days are long, long behind me, but if you can master that, that'll help you out quite a bit. So that's one thing you can practice. The next thing you can practice is just like learning what Dom and Baal are going to do, learning all their patterns, so you kind of are used to what they're going to do, and anticipating it, kind of manipulating them into doing what you need them to do, and then avoiding it from there. It is a lot easier said than done because what they do is random. And there's nothing you can really do to manipulate what attacks they do. But once the attack is decided on being done, then you can do a lot more to manipulate what's happening after that. So basically, I'm going to show you kind of like a little bit of what you can do without like any resources. But before I do that, I just want to say again, if you're racing the game, if you're speedrunning or whatever, until you come to this area here, make a save and practice this boss a lot without a lot of resources, I would always recommend going somewhere else, maybe picking up an additional white shard, trying to find some movement. Make sure you craft a bunch of healing items, health and MP if you don't have the Jibo glasses, or maybe just farm for a better purple shard. There's lots of purple shards in the game that are just really, really good here. I need either of the two poison purples. You can farm for reds and try to get like either of the two poison reds. Void Ray, Taib, both of these purples are insanely good here, even without infinite MP. Aqua Stream is pretty good. You get pretty good MP to damage ratio as long as you can get close. And there's a few other shards that are miscellaneously useful. Even if you don't have infinite MP, Valtzu isn't bad. Buy a bunch of MP items. Do a lot of damage. Spend the MP items to get your MP back and do some more damage and so on. But I really want, but it's pretty easy to just keep your distance, dodge stuff, shoot your magic at her, and be fine. So I kind of really wanted to cover more like some of the melee strategies you're going to go through. All right, so I'm on my regular files. We got to skip all these cutscenes. Sorry about that. I don't have a save handy because I've been vetting a lot of seeds and then putting them in a document and then deleting them. But yeah, so Dom's going to have a bunch of different attacks, of course. You've probably seen them all if you've been here. She's got the dive kit, she's got the scarves, she's got the summon ghost, she's got all of her elemental spells, and so on. But so the scarves are probably the easiest to explain here. You can kind of manipulate her into doing the level of scarf that you want. And my advice is the best way to avoid everything, don't be afraid to jump. Don't be afraid to jump as high as you can by long pressing the jump button, and don't be afraid to slide. You can slide under that. You can jump through them, sort of. And don't be afraid to jump over her. This happens to be really good. She does have a pretty good hitbox behind her with the scarves. But if you jump over early, you won't get hit by it very often. So you can really kind of just treat her like Zangetsu 1. Jumping over her makes her kind of reset and decide what to do. The only danger is she can store her elbow attack. And that can come out on frame 1 as soon as she's done with any other attack. So sometimes you'll jump over her and still get hit by the elbow, but there's really not much you can do about that. You just kind of have to try to jump over her as far as you can, and sometimes the elbow will miss. But you can kind of see there, like, again, most of the way to dodge stuff is to jump over it or slide. So like right here, I can jump over. I can see her casting that. I can run towards her and jump over it. It's all anticipation, right? Like, so like, okay, as soon as I see her start up a certain move and I know what it is, I know what to do, right? So this one we're just gonna kind of chill. Because again, like trying to attack got me hit there. She double jumps, slide under. And you just really have to get used to the ranges. You know, it's very fighting. This game is very fighting game-esque. There's really, it's just a lot of practice and a lot of training your own reflexes and stuff and knowing what to do. And you're gonna get hit. You're gonna miss melee attacks. There's just no way around any of that. And it's a lot easier to dodge everything when you're not trying to get damage in. But you know, there's no real easy road to this. It's just gonna be a lot of practice for you. Also, another thing you can do is get more health orbs, or like, you know, little files on the ground and try to get more health. And you can also get some levels. Like, you know, obviously when we take on Dom, we're at like usually like level 16 to like 20 something. So we have a lot less health and we skip a lot of item pickups. We have a lot less MP. So a lot of the micro decisions you make in your run are trying to set you up for being able to do this no matter what kind of stuff you have. So again, all that very good to do and practice. But, you know, I would just say come here with a save file, turn off all your stuff, and practice this kind of thing. Practice dodging. Don't even try to do damage. Practice dodging and stuff for like, you know, an hour or so here and there, like whenever you get a sesh, a couple times a week. Then once you get comfortable with all the attacks, the randomness, reacting to the first bit of the animation, or the startup, as you would call it in a fighting game. Once you get comfortable with that, then start trying to do damage with the Zangetsuto. I would recommend practicing with the Zangetsuto because it's very hard to hit with it. The katana hitbox is very, very poor. It has no hitbox low, so it's much harder to hit stuff when you're jumping, and it has a really, really slow windup if you swing it standing or crouching. So it's really going to force you to kind of get used to doing jump attacks like this a lot, short hop attacks, like little plinks like this. So you can kind of jump through the ice there if you time it perfect. And like this is going to get you used to this because this weapon is, and if you have the Valkyrie sword, it's going to be just way, way easier for you. So if you get used to fighting with a worse weapon, you know, you'll have much better results. All right, now I'm going to try to finish this off, and I'm going to shut up and concentrate and see how it goes. And don't feel any obligation to try to do this quickly. Even in a race or a speed run, it's better to get the kill and save as many resources as possible for the next fight instead of die. So, you know, just if you can't do damage safely, just don't even bother trying. Just run away, you know, reset the situation, or get back to neutral, as we would call it in a fighting game. Right? Don't get elbowed if you can. Sometimes you can duck that too. And when she does her beam attack, I'll try to show you like a little way around that you can use with Dimension Shift. And again, don't be afraid to panic and just use Dimension Shift, especially if you have no other way to deal damage with your MP, because you become invulnerable when you Dimension Shift, and you can use it to get around her, to get past her. Like look at how that elbow hit. That was ridiculous, right? Behind and diagonal, right? But with the scarves, you can kind of manipulate her and where she's going to throw scarves. Like, if you stand in front of her crouching and she decides to scarf, she's going to scarf crouching, which you can then jump over. If you jump over her constantly in front of you, she's going to either dive kick or up scarf you, which you can then just go under, right? If you stand still, she's going to do the regular scarf to you. I've gotten hit with like all the damage I've taken in this for the most part has been elbows and unfortunate scarves that I just barely got touched by. Trying to let her do the beam attack so you can kind of see. Again, why is that? That should not be hitting, but here it is. Dimension Shift usually gets you through, and then if you get back to the ground, you can just crouch under that. That's a really good way to do that. You'll see her start to wind it up. You can Dimension Shift past it, and then Dimension Shift past it again back in the opposite direction. Those are some things you can do. Yeah, see, so when I saw her jump there and I jumped too, that was just the wrong decision. If I just stayed on the ground and done anything else, I wouldn't have got hit. So and sometimes she just won't throw any elbows, and sometimes she'll throw nothing but elbows. So like, you know, sometimes you just have to deal with it. And again, like, I would have taken so many less hits here if I'm just waiting to do damage to her, you know, after she's vulnerable. Like after she's completed an attack and she's running up and trying to start her next attack, I should let her start the next attack, wait for her to miss it, and then attack her like once or twice, and just have a much slower fight and a much safer fight. And that's why you don't want to attack her from the front. Is she'll just like elbow you. So you want to jump over as much as you can. So not a great example here because I took a ton of damage. But again, a good example of why you want healing. So you're just gonna have to practice that. But hopefully that gives you like a little bit of insight on like some of the things you can do, some of the things you can get used to, and practice. Then we have Baal here. Baal is the three heads. There's the demon, which we call the landlord. There's the lizard or frog, and then there's the cat. So basically, you're going to have this little laser beam here. You want to make sure that you're just not standing in the same area you were standing when it spawns. Okay, so we have the worst RNG first. That's great. That'll actually let me show you what to do here. But you move from left to right faster. You move as the demons move. So you can always move left to right faster, so keep that in mind. And without any kind of movement, it's always easier to jump over these guys if you get a little bit extra height. It's not as bad with like the lizard or the cat, but the demon head's extra big. So when that one's coming around, you'll want to probably spend some time letting him get a little closer, get a little height, and then jump over. And again, this is just all about timing, right? So making that jump later so that it jumped over the beams. Same thing there. So that, unfortunately with the cat, if you have no movement, you're just going to die here. Because the bottom, this stuff's going to fill up with lava. What you can do is take damage from other stuff instead of the lava if it's available, like the green beam. But you're just going to have to heal through this. You have no choice here. And you just have to try to jump out as whenever you can. So just keep that in mind. If you are coming down here with no movement whatsoever, no double jump, high jump, invert, reflector ray, whatever, you just have to hold that, basically. The only other thing you can do is just dimension shift up to the top of the screen and stay dimension shift up at the top of the screen. And so with that, you're going to be spending mana. And again, you see how I can't really maintain my height? I can't really maintain my height because the dimension shift bubble gets eaten up by the sprite of the bosses. You can see like I can. There's only a maximum height I can get to with dimension shift. So you're really kind of just screwed on that bit. So if you come down here without anything else, any movement, any way to get up there, you could theoretically, I guess you could like kung fu kick over and over, but again that takes MP and stay up there. But you're gonna have to just hold bad RNG or heal through it. Okay, so be prepared for that. Alright, I'm going to start doing damage now. But yeah, like, you'll get used to all the other attacks, the blade rings, the green stuff. But basically, when it comes to the demon and the lizard, you can kind of just stand right here in this spot. The blue stuff is tough to dodge, but the like little stones that the demon head drops is pretty easy. And both of those attacks that they do, they go like diagonally downward and then diagonally upward at you. If you stand close to the lizard head, like about right there, you'll never get hit by it. And if you just stand anywhere on the ground when the demon does his attack, you'll never get hit by it either. You have to literally be too close. So these are really easy. These are the RNGs you want. It's completely random which one you get when you walk into the fight, when you get it first. And you can't get the same head twice in a row, so then you have a 50-50 after that. But as you can see with a melee weapon, you can't do much damage to it while it's not anywhere close. Oh my god, the hitboxes are so insanely bad. Like, I don't know why they're so gigantic, but, it's an Igavania, baby. It's not supposed to be easy. These platforms are notoriously terrible. You can try to stay on them if you want, but sometimes they'll shield you from like a falling rock like that. But like, as you can see right there, like I just fell off of that one by standing on it. Right? So I'll try to get up on one to not get lavaed, but I can dimension shift up to one to not get lavaed, maybe? Yeah. And I want to show you something real quick here with double jump if you have it. Because you might be wondering like, well, what do I do with double jump on this part right here? You can actually just do this over and over. Oh, if it'll let me. No, it didn't let me. But trust me, you can dive kick off the head over and over and over up there. You just have to get really good at, mashing it. So we'll turn that back off. You'll see me do it in runs. You'll see some of our runners do it in runs. Okay. Let's actually go ahead and kill this boss now. Be very careful with hits when it's not stationary. You can get a couple in, but then you'll get hit by the laser and stuff if you're not moving. So, just take what little damage you can get. I always try to get like 1 in here, and then jump over it, dodge this stuff, and then get a couple. Unfortunately, on 60 FPS, the controls are a little bit less responsive, and it is the way it is. But that's what we have to do to play with people on console to make sure it's fair for them. So that's what we're doing. And again, same with this boss. It's much better to just go slow and steady and not get hit than it is to try to go for stuff and die and then have to do both fights all over again. Because if you die in here, you have to do Dominique all over again. So just take it slow and steady. Play as safe as you possibly can. And remember about your gear as well. So like, there's a lot of gear that you can use to your advantage. If you try to hang on to a unicorn ring. That increases your healing items effectiveness. Try to hang on to your movement relics, or accessories as well. And there's all sorts of other things you can have, like if you find a warlock's necklace, this gives you some more magic that you can use to maybe get some more magic damage in. And pay attention to your drops, because you sometimes will get curse rings. These are really, really good. They give you a bunch of stats. They just tank your luck, and in the last fight you don't need luck. You just need to do damage. So a lot of times we'll equip this, and then just pay attention to your stats. Over on the side, I have a whole guide on the stats. If you know you're going to have to do a ton of melee damage, you'll just want to try to like pump as much strength as you can to boost your attack. If you're confident that you have enough mana healing or like enough mana MP reduction cost stuff, and you're going to try to like do a lot of magic damage, you want to just throw on all your int gear. And if you're going to take a lot of damage, you're going to get hit a lot. That's where your defensive in your mind comes in. Maybe you want to sack some offense for that to give yourself like a little bit extra in that department. So you can kind of like see what happens here with the curse ring. Yeah, we're doing like by itself, we're doing a bunch of extra damage per swing. Yeah, just don't want to get hit here. Yeah. Mistimed that a little bit, so I didn't jump over the head and the green thing at the same time, but yeah, it's really unfortunate this platform is not lower to the ground, but they really just like didn't anticipate you getting here without any kind of movement whatsoever. Yeah, and staying dimension shift and up and out of the lava is very difficult. Just the way that the button or the little aiming reticle kind of like gets eaten by the sprite up at the top of the screen really prevents you from doing it. So, but you can kind of do like that, like I showed you there, like to try to stay above the lava. Use that to get up on the platform. Try to use the platform, but again, you're going to fall through the platform a lot, or just fall off of it because the hitbox is so bad. So like just make sure that you're paying attention. Don't think you're safe. The cat is definitely the scariest part of this fight. Okay. Yeah, so that one I should have just stayed and rode up the wall and then jumped over the beam. Yeah, again, see, I got greedy there, went for damage, and then got hit. So you really want to just make sure you evade first, and if the opportunity arises to get some damage in, cool. But this is why you'll see us pick up curse rings. If we have Aqua Stream, you'll see us pick up ice rings. There's all sorts of other accessories that you can pick up that'll help you in like, very rarely will you only have melee to do this with. But, in those rare scenarios where you think that that's the best course of action, practice is the best thing I can tell you. But yeah, if you ever want to reach out to me, if you need coaching, if you need help, anything that has to do with this game, please reach out to me. Our race Discord is below, so you can join that. You can see me there and DM me or ask in the channels that we have and get some help. And remember, folks, we are trying to run a tournament before the end of this year. Just to kind of like give the game a nice send-off before we get the new game sometime next year. We currently have a decent amount of people signed up. I think it's 6 or 7. So it is a little bit past when I wanted to start, but we are trying to hold and try to get 8 people so that we can, not including myself, so that we can get a nice even bracket where there's no buys or anything like that, and we get a nice, a set of matches that we can have and archive for a while. And I'm going to try to rebroadcast every single match if I can. Unfortunately, some people's hours and all kinds of stuff, people being all over different parts of the world, that might not work out. Different days off and so on. So people might have to run their races without me broadcasting it. But what is great about the tournament is we are requiring everybody to at least broadcast the match when they play it. So what I can do is then go and find their VODs, and then I can rebroadcast without knowing the results necessarily, and then I can check everything afterwards. I can validate and all that, and enter the stuff into the bracket. So I can rebroadcast, commentate with that, have people join. Maybe we won't be able to get interviews after the races and stuff. Again, none of that's required, but we're looking forward to having some more people join and firing off that tournament coming soon. So remember, check out that information. That's also going to be in the description as well. Big tournament write-up, links to the bracket, and in the write-up, it is long, so I don't blame you. I just want to reiterate that anybody's welcome to join. You just have to do a couple things. You just have to have a verified email so you can sign up and join the bracket, and so that I have a way to contact you at least at a bare minimum, because we do have prizes and entries free, of course. So check that out, and then you also just have to be able to communicate with us in some fashion, whether it's email, Discord, or whatever, and be able to join the racing system, make an account there so that we can get an official timer, and I can have a set of results that I can plug in later. So that's really all you have to do, and we have prize support that goes all the way down through the entire tournament. So a portion of the prize pool is reserved for people that are going to finish at the top, but we have several lower increment prizes reserved for people who just participate. So you can get one for just participating at random. You can get one for the play of the tournament. You can get one for a couple other miscellaneous things, like a sportsmanship kind of thing. We're thinking about throwing that around and all that. And also, a lot of these prizes that we have reserved will, just if it does happen to go to somebody that wins or whatever, we do want to drop it down to the next person in line, just so that there's a nice, fair, and equal disbursement of all that stuff. Because I just really want to say thank you to everybody for participating, for being part of the community, and for hanging out and becoming friends and all that over the years, as we say goodbye to Ritual, at least in a competitive sense. So and I also want to do it because we had a pretty tough 2024 with some game-breaking bugs that are for the most part fixed now. So this is kind of like our love letter to the game and the community, and a nice send-off. So if you are interested in that, please check out all that stuff. Is also in the description box. But if you're not, please just tune in and watch our matches. They will be coming soon. And if you are watching this after the fact, I will have a playlist of the whole tournament on the channel as well. So if you want to head back and check that out at your leisure, that will be available for you as well. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this tutorial, kind of like quasi coaching kind of thing, let me know. Maybe I'll make some more, and we'll go from there. My Twitch is also below if you want to watch live, and the channel that we were going to be broadcasting the matches on is our great partners at Final Fantasy Randomizer. Their information is also below. So thanks so much. Hopefully this helps you on your Dominique and Baal fights. And if you have any questions for me, go ahead and leave comments. I'll try to reply, and also I can kind of make follow-ups and go from there. So, all right, guys, Bloodstained 2025. We'll see you in the next one.